Hello, I'm John Weiler with the Sovereign Passage Assembly, and this is our daily brief for December 4th, 2018. We're going to continue on with our study of Parashah Vayishlach, which means "and he sent," and we're focusing on Yaakov now, coming back into relationship with his brother, Yaakov struggling with the things of the world and the things of Yah, the way of the world, the way of YAHUAH, and how this all relates with ourselves. So the portion itself is Bere'shiyth 32, or Genesis chapter 32, verse 4 to chapter 36, verse 43. And we are going to be focusing on chapter 33 today in continuation with yesterday's discussion of the beginning of the portion. So as we do these discussions that we are doing now, when we're speaking the word of YAHUAH, the points that he brings out to us, I will make reference to like today I'll be discussing things that we discussed yesterday, because they all fit together. So just so that as we're talking here, there will be other points that will be made today that will echo points that were made in previous discussions. So I would just ask that, one, you're following along with your word, because we're going to be speaking directly from the word, and two, that you also have the opportunity to go back to the previous discussions to get a broader picture if you're just joining us here with this portion. So, okay, well, let's get started, and we're going to start at chapter 33, and we're going to go ahead and read it, and then we'll talk about it. Okay, and Yaakov lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, Esau came, and with him 400 men. And he divided the children unto Leah, and unto Rachel, and unto the two handmaids, and he put the handmaids and their children foremost, Leah and her children after, and Rachel and Joseph hindermost. And he passed over before them, and bowed himself to the ground 7 times, until he came near to his brother. And Esau ran to meet him, and embraced him, and fell on his neck, and kissed him, and they wept. And he lifted up his eyes and saw the women and the children, and said, Who are those with you? And he said, The children which Elohim has graciously given your servant. Then the handmaidens came near, and their children, and they bowed themselves. And Leah also with her children came near, and bowed themselves. And after came Joseph near, and Rachel, and they bowed themselves. And he said, What do you mean by all this drove which I met? And he said, Yaakov says, These are to find grace in the sight of my Lord. And Esau says, I have enough, my brother. Keep that you have unto yourself. And Yaakov said, Nay, I pray you. If now I have found grace in your sight, then receive my present at my hand. For therefore I have seen your face, as though I had seen the face of Elohim, and you are pleased with me. Take, I pray you, my blessing that is brought to you, because Elohim has dealt graciously with me, and because I have enough. And he urged him, and he took it. And he said, Let us take our journey, and let us go, and I will go before you. So Esau. And then Yaakov, he said unto him, My Lord knows that the children are tender, and the flocks and the herds with young are with me. And if men should overdrive them in one day, all the flock will die. Let my Lord, I pray you, pass over his servant, and I will lead on softly, according as the cattle that goes before me, and the children be able to endure, until I come unto my Lord unto Seir. And Esau said, Let me now leave you with some of the folk that are with me. And he said, What needs it? Let me find grace in the sight of my Lord. So Esau returned that day on his way to Seir, and Yaakov journeyed to Succoth, and built him a house, and made Succoth for his cattle, and therefore the name of the place is called Succoth. Okay, those are booths or tents. And Yaakov came to Shalom, a city of Shechem, which is in the land of Canaan, when he came from Padan Aram, and pitched his tent before the city, and bought a parcel of a field where he had spread his tent at the hand of the children of Hamor, Shechem's father, for 100 pieces of money. And he erected there an altar and called it El Elohai Yasharel. Okay, so to go back here to the beginning of this chapter, this is verse 1 through 15. Yaakov lifts up his eyes and sees Esau coming. He's just wrestled with the man, okay, that showed up at night in the dark, and the man dislocated his hip, so Yaakov could not stand upright. But the man could not prevail over him. And before the light came in the morning, he says, "Let me go, for the day breaks." That's what the man said. And Yaakov says, "I'm not going to let you go except you bless me. So you're going to bless me, and I'll let you go." And the man says, "What's your name?" He says, "Yaakov," which means hill catcher or supplanter. And the man says, "Your name shall be called no more Yaakov, but Yasharel. For as a prince you have power with Elohim and with men, and have prevailed." Power with Elohim and power with men, and have prevailed. So Yasharel is the upright of El. Yashar is upright. El is the master. Okay, so the upright of El. And this man says, "For as a prince have you power with Elohim and with men, and have prevailed," wrestling with this man in the darkness. Then the light comes, and the man, by Yaakov's holding him, says to bless me, and he blesses him. And Yaakov asked me, "Tell me, I pray you, your name." And the man refuses to give him his name. He says, "Wherefore it is that you do ask after my name." And he blessed him there. And Yaakov called the place Penuel, and saying, "For I have seen Elohim face to face, and my life is preserved." We talked about yesterday on how Yah tells us that no man can see his face and live. Yeah, speaking to Moshe. But he would also come and meet Moshe, and speak to him face to face. But we talked about the point there is where he met Moshe was in the tent of meeting, or the tabernacle of assembly, which was a set apart place. It's set apart to YAHUAH, and how that reflects us, okay, us inside. We are now that tabernacle of assembly for the Ruach, or the Spirit of Elohim, to come and dwell. And we're going to talk about that a little bit further today. But where Yaakov was wrestling in the dark, okay, with no light at night with the man, okay, so wrestling with man, as he's going over to meet his brother. All right, and we talked about how Esau is this world that is passing away. Okay, Esau is the end of this world, and Yaakov is on the heel of this world that's passing away, and Yaakov is the life to come. Okay, so to see the face of Elohim, we talked about that as far as blessing, security, completeness, safety, security, completeness, things along those lines. All right, so to be complete is also healing, and we are healed through the death and the resurrection of Yahushua HaMashiach, whom YAHUAH sent for our sake. So the completeness that comes with the face of Elohim is the dwelling place of Elohim. So the only place that we can be or see or receive that countenance, or his face turned upon us, is when we're set apart from the world. We're holy, set apart as he is holy. So we're set apart the way that he sanctifies us, through his way. And then he comes and makes his home and dwells within us. Okay, and we become that living tabernacle. So, for Yaakov to be wrestling with man, that's our struggle. Okay, so we have that within ourselves, this desire for the things of the flesh, of the world around us, and that's what takes our eye away from being single to the way of YAHUAH, turns our light into darkness, as Yahushua HaMashiach tells us. And how deep is that darkness? Okay, so we have to get rid of our idols, all right? Get rid of all of our idols, no matter what they are, and turn our eyes singly on the way of YAHUAH. And this is a very challenging thing, very, very challenging thing. Because we can get the concept in place, but in the execution of the concept, there's a lot of things that we don't realize that we do or we're part of until the thing has already taken place that leads us away from YAHUAH. So it's very active, and we have to have a high amount of introspection. So this is what we have here, though, with Yaakov going back home, stealing the blessing, taking the blessing that was not his, that ends up being a curse. Okay, the things of this world, the blessings of this world, are what potentially leads us away from being single with YAHUAH. Because we don't need that stuff. We're told by Yahushua to get rid of all of those things, and then come follow him, because they turn into idols. Yeah, we read in Hosea yesterday, or Husha, where that's exactly what Ephraim did. So they turned to the nations around them, to where that's where their eye was singly focused, was on the way of the world, the way of the flesh, trading partners with all these places and amassing great wealth. But that was their life. Okay? And then their idols were those who we can call them the spirits, though. Excuse me, the Elohim that they would follow are what elevate the things of this world. Okay, so amassing the treasures here versus the treasures in heaven. Excuse me. And YAHUAH treated them just as they wanted to be treated, as not his people. Okay, and they were taken away. But the point here is where we place the importance of our daily thoughts, which is our spiritual direction. Is it going to be singly on the way of YAHUAH? So what is it? How are we going to deal with the situation, whatever the situation of the moment is? Is it going to be dealt with in the way that we're instructed in His Word, which is to love? Okay, love as Yah loved us. Okay, as YAHUAH loved us, as it's put to us in the first epistle of Yehukanan, or John. So to love through the way of YAHUAH. Okay, we have the example, the fullness of the Torah in Yahushua HaMashiach. So do we approach our moments in that manner, which is selflessly, or do we approach it in the way of the flesh, which is selfishly? Okay, that's the challenge there. All right, and that reflects not just on things; it reflects on all relationships, everything. So it is a challenge, and we know this too, because that's why we're coming for edification, for to be uplifted through the word of YAHUAH. Okay, so Yaakov now is finished with that test for our sake. Okay, so he's prevailed to where struggling with the man, you can't be upright. Okay, when you are going the way of the flesh or of the world. Okay, so his hips popped out of socket. Okay, that's for us. We can't be upright, can't stand upright, and still walk in the ways of Yah, walk in the ways of the world. There's no way to do it. It's only one or the other. And it happens in the dark. Okay, so at night, we learn at the very beginning in Bere'shiyth that the day and the night were one. It tells us the first day, which it is the first day, but it says Ichad. So the day and the night were Ichad, are one. So, and that's us. We can house the light, or we house deep darkness. So his struggle in the dark, which is away from where we are now, we don't have the face of Elohim with us. He's turned his face away from the world. But this is our time. This is our gift from him to come back to him, okay, for repentance. He has poured out his Spirit amongst us. And he's been calling to us since the foundation of the world, let there be light. So we have the light that comes at the break of day, and we see where Yaakov becomes the upright in the break of day, the upright of El. Okay, we are struggling now, today, but we will not always be struggling. We draw nearer to him and create that dwelling place for his Ruach as we fight against those tendencies to want or to take and keep singly on him. But when the light comes back in the world, Yahushua HaMashiach, we will be changed. We will be changed in the likeness of him, okay, in which we don't know what that is yet, but we do know in his coming, that's what we will be. That's another portion of the letter of Yehukanan. So we have these things in his word, which is our hope. And we also know that it's right. Okay? We have righteousness, it's told to us as righteousness, but once you start practicing that and cleave to the our partner, okay, YAHUAH Yahusha, you can see that it's right. You know that it's right. You feel that it's right, and it reflects in from the spiritual, which is your thoughts, through your words and your actions. And then you can see when you can feel in your Ruach, your spirit breath wind, that's Ruach, you can feel when you start to look away in the darkness, okay, and so your light becomes darkness, you feel that. Praise YAHUAH. And that's affecting the relationship of Yakad with our Ruach and the Ruach of Elohim. Okay, so now we have that struggle that we're looking at here, and we're also seeing the part now where he's coming back in and around man. Okay, Esau, Edom, who is Edom, Adam, who is man. Okay, so Yaakov lifts up his eyes again, so it's after this encounter with the man, and he sees Esau coming to 400 men, and he divides his children into groups based off of who the mother is. Okay, so we got 4 mothers. And he puts the handmaids first with their children, then Leah, and then Rachel with Yosef, because she only had Yosef at this time. But Yaakov goes first. Okay, so it's not like he's pushing them forward and then he's coming behind them. Yaakov goes first to Esau, and he bows 7 times until as he's moving up 7 times as he comes to Esau. Okay, and we see 7 here, 7-day creation, the 7,000 years to the world until Mashiach, until the end of the age where everything is complete and then changed. Esau runs to meet him and embraces him and kisses Yaakov. And he sees Yaakov swimming and says, "Whose are these? And whose are those with you?" And Yaakov says, "Is the children which Elohim has graciously given your servant." And then the handmaids and the children come up and present themselves and bow, and Leah and the children present themselves and bow, and Yosef and Rachel present themselves and bow. And Esau asks, "Well, what was the meaning of all the droves?" Which were the gifts that he had given to him, which six different droves of goods that he was giving to his brother at different times. And he says, "Well, what was the meaning of that?" And Yaakov replies, "To find grace in the sight of my Lord." And Esau replies, "I have enough, brother," because he's giving him to him. He says, "I have enough, brother. Keep that you have unto yourself." Because Esau becomes very blessed in the sense of goods, okay, also, which is very interesting as far as the blessing goes from Yitzhak. Esau is still, blessed as far as we see with goods, nation, people, area. So Yaakov says, "No, or nay, I pray you, if I have found grace in your sight, then receive my present at my hand. For therefore I have seen your face, as though I had seen the face of Elohim, and you are pleased with me." I have seen your face as though I had seen the face of Elohim. So no man can see the face of Elohim and live. So what we see here is Yaakov behaving as we should be behaving, focusing on the Spirit, okay, focusing on the world that is, the life that is to come, giving away the gifts, pleasing man. All right, but these things here have no need, okay? So the lusts of the flesh, the things of this world, which is coming to an end. Esau's the end of the world. And he has enough, is what he said. So my blessing that is brought to you because Elohim has dealt graciously with me and because I have enough. All right, so your face, though I've seen the face of Elohim, your face is though I had seen the face of Elohim and you were pleased with me. So the gifts of Elohim, for his face to shine upon you and your countenance upon you, we are received blessing, we're received peace, okay, shalom, which is completeness, and safety, okay, so he is our shield. All of those things are the face of Elohim, but no man can see that face and live, because we live through the ransoming of our Ruach through Yahushua HaMashiach. That's how we live. So no man can see the face of YAHUAH and live. But when we live now, we live for the world to come, which is Yaakov. So Esau is pleased because of the gifts that is given and the blessing that is brought to you because Elohim has dealt graciously with me and because I have enough. So he's giving back the blessing through himself. Okay, the blessing from YAHUAH through himself. And then Yaakov urges Esau until he takes the gifts. Now, Esau then says, let us take our journey. Let's go. Okay, let us go, and I'll go before you. And Yaakov says, no, my Lord knows that the children are tender, young, and the flocks and the herds are young with me. If men should overdrive them in one day, all the flocks will die. Let my Lord, I pray you, pass over before his servant, and I will lead on softly. Okay, my yoke is easy and my burden is light. According as the cattle that goes before me, and the children be able to endure, until I come unto my Lord, until Seir. Esau wants to go. Let's go. And he wants them to go together. And Yaakov says, no, we can't go together. And Esau says, well, let me leave with you some of the folk that are with me. And Yaakov replies, what needs it? Let me find grace in the sight of my Lord. And so he leaves. Esau leaves. Esau wants to leave people with him, his people with him. And Yaakov says, no, we don't need to do that. Just please let me find grace in your sight, okay? Which is acceptance, all right, the forgiveness. And the fact that here they can't live together. They can't exist together. Because for us, it's being double-minded. All right, we can't love the way of the world and love YAHUAH at the same time. It's impossible. We're either single on his way or we're single in the way of the flesh. And one fills us with light, gives us the overflowing of living water, the word of Yah, that just comes out of our mouth as in living water. Or we have darkness, our light is darkness, and our words are of death and destruction. Okay, so Esau returns to Seir, and Yaakov journeys to Succoth, and he built him a house there and a Succoth for his cattle, so a booth or some kind of dwelling place for his cattle, and therefore the name is called Succoth. And Yaakov came to Shalem, a city of Shechem, and it's in the land of Canaan. When he came forth from Padan Aram and pitched his tent before the city, he bought that parcel of a field where he had spread out his tent at the hand of the children of Hamor, Shechem's father, for 100 pieces of money, is what it says. And erected there an altar, called it El Elohai Yasharel. All right. Shalem means peaceful or complete, okay, which is an early name of Yerushalayim, the city of completeness, Jerusalem. And that's Strong's H003, H004. Shechem means the neck as a place of burden, okay, or a ridge, or like the neck where it's built, be like the point where there's a yoke put on, okay, where you carry stuff. That's Shechem. and that's Strong's H7926, and that's 7927, which is close to the city of peace. Okay, we got to pay attention here, because what Yahushua tells us is that the road that leads to everlasting life, or the world to come, is narrow and very troublesome to us. Okay, but it leads us to the relationship, to the completeness with YAHUAH, Yahushua. Okay, so we have the peaceful and completeness that is near to the place of burden. Okay, so a Shalem, Jerusalem, Yerushalayim, next to Shechem, burden. So, how now, when we read these words, we, as those seeking righteousness, following the way of YAHUAH, should be looking here of really what's going on here that relates to us directly today. Well, it's our struggle. Okay, it's our struggle with the world around us, especially coming out of the world, because that's what we're doing. Every single person that's around the world today, that's hearing the words, the voice of YAHUAH, the voice of our shepherd Yahushua, and through his words being called to from the foundation of the world through Yahushua HaMashiach, we are coming out of rejection, rebellion, and hostility, acting with hostility, walking contrary to the ways of YAHUAH. Okay, and we didn't know it. Nobody knew it. And now we do. And we're seeking, because we realize that we're so very, very blessed to be chosen from the foundation of the world through Yahushua HaMashiach to know this now. Okay, we are at the end of all things. We are very, very close to this time of grace given by YAHUAH for us to repent. Okay, the time given for us to come back into relationship. We're very close to the end of that. Praise YAHUAH that he has given us this opportunity. So now, as we have that understanding that we were born in a way, that we just grew up in a way of death, which is sin, okay, the results of sin, the consequence of sin, and to only know the rejection of the way of YAHUAH, while all the time thinking that what and how we were living was the way of YAHUAH. Okay, for those of us that came out of a church type of background, okay, who are another place that professes a God and a Messiah without following them, okay? And we don't know that either. I did not know that until hearkening to his word, okay? So learning his word, seeking righteousness through his word. And that's something that we have to always remember, is that we are so, so greatly blessed. Such an incredible gift that we don't realize it until we start to get closer and closer in our relationship. We don't realize how precious and how wonderful of a thing that we have been given. And it helps us too with moving forward into this relationship to cleave closer to our covenant partner, to become yachad, or one with him. But we also forget where we were. And then when we look at others and we say, it's so clear, our first intention is to look away from being single the way of Yah and say, look back to the things of the flesh and say, well, it's so clear here for us. How come you can't get that? Okay, so that's us looking away now from the way of Yah, from our patience and our love for others. And we're saying, well, how come you can't see this here? Okay, we have to be very careful there, because we have forgotten where we came from. Okay, who we are, and how quickly we can go back to that spot. So we have to guard ourselves. Let's go to now with what we're talking about then, with this relationship with our dwelling place with the Ruach HaKodesh, the Ruach, the Holy Spirit, okay, the Kadesh, the set-apart Spirit of YAHUAH, okay, the Ruach YAHUAH, Ruach Elohim. Let's go to 1 Corinthians. Written to us, for us, by the worker, okay, through the way of YAHUAH Yahushua. And we're going to start with chapter 2, verse 1. It says, "And I, brethren, when I came to you, came not with excellency of speech or of wisdom, declaring unto you the testimony of YAHUAH. For I determined not to know anything among you, save Yahushua HaMashiach and him crucified. And I was with you in weakness and in fear and in much trembling. And my speech and my preaching was not with enticing words of man's wisdom, but in demonstration of the Ruach and of power, that your belief should not stand in the wisdom of men, but in the power of Yah." This particular assembly seems from the beginning, the first chapter, that there's the introduction to this letter, is that there's a division amongst the people, amongst the way of YAHUAH. And people were dividing themselves amongst Pa'al, the worker, those who are called out and sent out with the way of Yah given through Yahushua HaMashiach, saying that now I say that every one of you says, I am of Pa'al, and I am of Apollos, and I of Kepha, and I of Mashiach. And the point that Pa'al the worker is making here is that, is Mashiach divided? Is there more than one way to the door which leads us into the kingdom of YAHUAH? Okay? And there's not. There's only one way to the door, and there's only one door, Mashiach. Okay? And it says, "Is Mashiach divided? And was Pa'al crucified for you? Or were ye immersed in the name of Pa'al? I thank Yah that I immersed none of you but Crispus and Gaius, lest any should say that I had immersed in my own name." It usually tells us that through his rebuking of the Parashim, the Pharisees, that if any man would come to you in their name, you'll accept. But he comes in the name of YAHUAH. Okay? And he says, this is what Paul says, lest any of you should say that I had immersed in my own name. So, what we're talking about here, what he's talking about, is that he comes and speaks the words, but it's not his words that speak. It's not even him speaking. It's the Ruach HaKodesh. Okay, cleaving to the way. And how do we speak with the Ruach HaKodesh? Okay, and how do we know somebody's speaking with the Ruach HaKodesh? Okay, well, we'll talk about that further. Let's continue on here. "Howbeit we speak wisdom among them that are perfect, yet not the wisdom of this world, nor of the princes of this world that came to nothing. But we speak the wisdom of Yah in a mystery, even the hidden wisdom, which YAHUAH ordained before the world unto our glory, which none of the princes of this world knew, for had they known it, they would not have crucified the Yah of glory. But as it is written, eye has not seen, nor ear heard, neither have entered into the heart of man, the things which YAHUAH has prepared for them that love him. But Yah has revealed him." That's from Yeshayahu, Isaiah chapter 64, verse 4. "But Yah has revealed them unto us by his Ruach, for the Ruach searches all things, yea, the deep things of YAHUAH. For what man knows the things of man, save the Ruach of a man which is in him? Even so, the things of Yah knows no man, but by the Ruach YAHUAH." Okay, so for what man knows the things of man, save the Ruach of man which is in him? So we only know the things that are based off our spirit that's in us, which is the lust of the flesh, the world around us. "Even so, the things of Yah knows no man, but by the Ruach YAHUAH." So we don't know the things of Yah, but by the Ruach YAHUAH, the Ruach HaKodesh, which is within us, okay, when we are Yakad, our beloved one, together. "Now we have received not the Ruach of the world, but the Ruach which is of YAHUAH, that we might know the things that are freely given to us of YAHUAH. Which things we also speak, not on the words which man's wisdom teaches, but which the Ruach HaKodesh teaches, comparing spiritual things to spiritual. But the natural man receives not the things of the Ruach YAHUAH, for they are foolishness unto him. Neither can he know them, because they are spiritually discerned. But he that is spiritual judges all things, yet he himself is judged of no man. For who has known the mind of the Ruach YAHUAH that he may instruct him? But we have the mind of the Ruach Mashiach. Okay, so the things that we also speak, not on the words which man's wisdom teaches, but which the Ruach HaKodesh teaches, comparing the spiritual things with the spiritual. For who has known the mind of the Ruach YAHUAH that he may instruct him? But we have the mind of Ruach Mashiach. Okay, so now we have that ability through the Ruach Mashiach to have the Ruach YAHUAH. All right, so chapter 3 says, "And I, brethren, could not speak unto you as unto spiritual, but as unto carnal, even as unto babes in Mashiach. I have fed you with milk, and not with food, for hitherto you were not able to bear it. Neither yet are ye now able, for ye are yet carnal. For whereas there is among you envying and strife and divisions, are you not carnal and walk as men? For while one says, I am of Paul, and another, I am of Apollos, are ye not carnal? Who then is Paul, and who is Apollos, but ministers by whom ye believed, even as Yah gave to every man? I have planted, Apollos watered, and Yah gave the increase. So then neither is he that plants anything, neither he that waters, but Yah that gives the increase." Got to pay attention here, because as we start to come out of the world, we'll start to look at what we call the teachers today as right. Okay? We look at them, well, I follow the teachings of so-and-so, talking about the way of Yah. Okay, whether it's a Hebrew roots thing, or it's somebody that teaches the Torah. First of all, we're called not to be teachers. Don't call yourself a teacher. And that's a challenge too, because, well, what are we doing here? Are we teaching? Well, we're speaking the word of Yah. Okay, we need to be speakers of the word of Yah. So he says at the beginning, "And I, brethren, cannot speak unto you as spiritual, but as carnal, even as unto babes in Mashiach. I have fed you with milk and not with food, for hitherto you were not able to bear it." So couldn't understand it, and then couldn't internalize it. Okay, because they were still carnal. All right, and what he says here, neither yet now are ye able. So they're still not able to bear the way of Mashiach, the way of YAHUAH, because they are yet carnal, or of the flesh of man. Because there's divisions among them. There's envying, there's strife, divisions. I see that, and I don't mean this in any shape or form. Okay, bad. I don't mean it in a way that's, I'm pointing a finger here, but I see division amongst those who are speaking the word, who are called to speak the word of YAHUAH, for what is right and wrong, and this is the way. And I've been given this by the Ruach HaKodesh. Okay, if we've been given anything by the Ruach HaKodesh, we speak the words of Yah, and that's it. Okay, that's it. And then we have to look at, well, what's the words of Yah? Okay, well, the words of Yah is the way of Yah, right? So we got the way of YAHUAH, which are the words of YAHUAH, which is the Torah, okay, which is Mashiach, made man. So we have the words of Mashiach and the actions of Mashiach, because those are the words of YAHUAH and the way of YAHUAH. Okay, so what is that here? When we're talking about, for yet you are carnal, for whereas there's among you envying, strife, and divisions. So we're still focusing on us ourselves. I think this is right, and I feel that this is the way that it is. Well, here's the thing. Okay, we know we have the words, we have the way, we have the example, and we have the commands, or the direction that we have to be. And the first thing we have to do is give everything up, to include ourselves. So we can't be coming out and saying, I am the teacher, this is what I have been given, and this is what the word says, and all of this. Okay, the word is going to say what the word is going to say. And the word that we are speaking are the words of YAHUAH through the Ruach HaKodesh, as we cling to him, as we cleave to him. Which means that we are giving up the things that drive the envying and strife and division. So the words that come out of our mouth should not incite division. It all should incite unification in the body of Mashiach. Okay? So we have to pay attention here. We can't say we follow so-and-so. We need to be following Mashiach. We have one teacher, even Mashiach, okay? And that we only find that through the words of Yah. All right? And that's the word of Yah. Mashiach is YAHUAH. All right? So his words, he can only do what he sees the Father doing. He can only speak what he hears the Father speaking. So his words are the words of the Father. His actions are the words of the Father. And we have one Father which is in heaven, which is YAHUAH. Okay? And YAHUAH is the one that saved us through Yahushua HaMashiach. So we got to pay attention here. For while one says, I am of Paul, and another, I am of Apollos, are ye not carnal? Who then is Paul, and who is Apollos, but ministers by whom you believed, even as Yah gave to every man? So they're all workers. Everybody that's coming out here are all workers. So even if, like the words that come out of right now, out of my mouth, you may not completely accept the words of Yah, may not completely accept or completely understand, they're still there. You have heard them. You have heard the words right here. So where he says, I have planted, Apollos watered, but Yah gave the increase. Okay, it's the word of Yah that is the healing. It's not the words of the man of speaking the words of Yah. It is the word of Yah that does the healing here. Okay, it says, but Yah gives the increase. So we have to be patient here and take the words of YAHUAH into ourselves, into our Ruach ourselves, and internalize them and to hearken to them, to do them, which means to give everything up to where we are not wanting the things of this world, which cause envying, strife, and division. Okay, so now we're on chapter 3, verse 8. Now he that plants and he that waters are one, and every man shall receive his own reward according to his own labor. For we are laborers together with Yah. Ye are Yahuwah's husbandry. Ye are Yahuwah's building. According to the grace of Yah which is given unto me, as a wise master builder, I have laid the foundation, and another builds thereon. But let every man take heed how he builds thereon. For other foundation can no man lay than that is laid, which is Yahushua HaMashiach. Now if any man build upon this foundation gold, silver, precious stones, wood, hay, stubble, every man's work shall be made manifest, for the day shall declare it, because it shall be revealed by fire. And the fire shall try every man's work of what sort it is. If any man's work abide which he has built thereupon, he shall receive a reward. If any man's work shall be burned, he shall suffer loss. But he himself shall be saved, yet so as by fire. Okay, so the foundation is Yahushua HaMashiach. Okay, the Messiah, Yahushua the Messiah, who is our door into the way, into the relationship, the kingdom, the realm, the relationship with YAHUAH. Okay, we cannot enter any other way into that relationship except through our foundation, Yahushua HaMashiach. That's the base of our belief, and we walk as he walked, which is in the ways of YAHUAH. We repent. Okay, we repent because he allows us to repent now. YAHUAH through Yahushua HaMashiach. So that's our foundation. And then we lay upon that foundation the way of YAHUAH. But it's going to be complete, or it needs to be complete because it's going to be tried. So every man's work shall be made manifest, for the day shall declare it, because it shall be revealed by fire. Okay, so the baptism or the immersion of the Ruach HaKodesh is by fire. Okay, so when we are now going to be the dwelling place for the Ruach HaKodesh, what we have built on the foundation of Yahushua HaMashiach is going to be revealed by that. So whether it is the way of Yah or the way not of Yah, okay? And it says that every man's work shall be made manifest, for the day shall declare it, because it shall be revealed by fire, and the fire shall try every man's work of what sort it is. If the man's work abide which he has built thereupon, he shall receive a reward. Okay, so we're staying on that narrow path, which is very difficult, but we stay on the path. We are single, our eyes single in the way of YAHUAH. If any man's work shall be burned, he shall suffer loss, but he himself shall be saved, yet so as if by fire. Okay, so we suffer loss, so we see here what was not right. but by his grace and through the Ruach, we're brought back on. Our comforter is our teacher, even though it hurts, because it hurts. I've experienced this, and I continue to experience it. It's a feeling of loss because of a loss of relationship, okay? Verse 16, to go on here, it says, know ye not that you are the temple of YAHUAH, and that the Ruach YAHUAH dwells in you. If any man defile the temple of Yah, him shall YAHUAH destroy, for the temple of Yah is holy, which temple ye are. So man will be destroyed here. This idea of the lusts of the flesh, the things around us, because that's what defiles us, okay? So we see it and then we want it. All right, and then our spirit wants that, as opposed to seeing the way and wanting the way and staying on the way. All right, so if any man defile the temple of Yah, him shall YAHUAH destroy the man, okay, which is by fire, and it hurts because we're called to give everything up. And it hurts because we're not prepared for it. And most of the time we don't realize that we're doing this because it's natural to us. That's the natural man, this carnal, fleshly, it's of the world. We don't realize that we're doing something that's interrupting the relationship, and then that is being burned out of us by the grace and mercy of YAHUAH, because that leads to death. The carnal leads to death. What is natural to us leads to death. So when that happens, we suffer loss, it hurts, but he himself shall be saved. So we're saved by the fire, okay? So there are things that are going to be tried upon us on a daily basis, because the Ruach HaKodesh dwells within us. If we defile our temple, it'll be brought to our attention, okay? And then that will be destroyed, because that is what this world is passing away. Esau is the end of this world. Yaakov is the beginning of the world to come. So we don't want the things of this world, which is passing. It's the end. We're at the end of it now. So we will be saved through that fire. And then verse 18 says, let no man deceive himself. If any man among you seems to be wise in this world, let him become a fool. And he that he may be wise. So get rid of the things of the world. If we're very smart here, we think we're very wise in the world, in the ways of the world, we need to become a fool. We need to turn away from it, that we may be wise. So wisdom begins with fear of YAHUAH. For the wisdom of the world is foolishness with YAHUAH, for it is written, he will take the wise in their own craftiness. And again, YAHUAH knows the thoughts of the wise, that they are vain. Therefore let no man glory in men. For all things are yours, whether Paul or Apollos or Kepha or the world or life or death or things present or things to come, all are yours. And ye are Mashiach's, and Mashiach is YAHUAH's. Okay. So, we have that struggle that we watch Yaakov go through, and then he meets his brother. Brother wants to be part of Yaakov's life, and he says no, and they live apart. So we see the struggle. All right, we can see the struggle here that's given to us through the instructions of YAHUAH. We see the struggle that we have, but we also know that through Yahushua HaMashiach, we have the Ruach Elohim, the Ruach YAHUAH, that dwells in our temple now. We are the living temple of YAHUAH. And we have that foundation of repentance for forgiveness, so being able to come back into our relationship through Yahushua HaMashiach. And then we learn the relationship. And then we do the relationship. And we desire it. We seek righteousness. We seek Him through the knowledge of the truth, which is the word of YAHUAH, which is the way of YAHUAH, which is our Messiah. And that's healing. That's completeness. Healing for the nations. And that's the gifts that we're given, that these mercies that we do not deserve, and the truth that He has shown us. So praise YAHUAH for that. Praise Yah for this another day and another opportunity to draw nearer to Him. You know, our days are hard. The life is hard. We want to help others. We want to do these things, but we can't be of the world. You know, and sometimes it takes a little bit longer to realize these things. But we have to continually come back to His Word and then look at that Word and how are we living in accordance to the way of Yah? Are we following the way of YAHUAH? Are we using that gift that He's given us through our Messiah? And that's a challenge there. So we just thank YAHUAH, praise YAHUAH, first of all for the opportunity, and then for the grace and mercy, the patience and forgiveness that we are now to show to others. We thank Him for that. Okay, so I hope that this portion has blessed you as it has blessed me, and I know that I'll be reflecting on these things and looking at my life ever closer in the way of Yah through these words that we've studied today that He has given to us, and to help that we might live, and through these trials of fire, that these changes that He has given to us through us. So praise YAHUAH. Okay, have a wonderful day, and we will be back here tomorrow with another daily brief. Thank you.